inside. You can go in your tower.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today finally is the day where I first get to experiment with wiring some bonsai. This is a 5+ year old Japanese black pine from seed. It's been untouched. I wanted to show you this one. This is from the exact same time period, grown the exact same time, same seeds. And I did earlier to this what I'm looking to do to this larger one before I do some wiring. So there's the older needles that aren't coming off of any branching except for like the stalk of the branch. So at the tip we have these candles here developing much larger, and there's 5 of them up here, 4 of them up here, a lot more energy to the top of the tree. But basically if I remove these needles and I pluck them off, I've been doing a lot of plucking, it exposes that trunk line and kind of takes it from more of a massive bush. It shows me the actual branch structure. So when I'm working with the wire or come up with a plan, it's a lot easier to see. So this guy is completely untouched. You see it's got a lot of nice low branching and a couple of main trunks coming up the middle. So yeah, we're going to cut this pot down, take a look at the trunk line, and pretty much remove all the needles like this so that there's just some growth towards the end of each branch, and then we'll go through and select which candles we want for the year. So hopefully my sidekick Stella will join me. Right now she's completely enamored with Bruce Lee, the mutt. But anyways, we're gonna get at it with some wire. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai.
So what?
Love you. So here we have what came in the mail from Amazon, and it's all aluminum, nice black coated rounded aluminum, and it's not a ton of it. Like it says, it's a starter set, bonsai wire starter set. So these nice little neat rolls wired 2 together, and then each one has its label. This one's 2.5, length 3.7 meters, weight 50 grams. So I'm thinking with this little guy over here, I would probably use maybe 2. Or this one I'm definitely gonna need the 3 and wrap it tightly. So, all right, I'm gonna throw it on, you know what, I'm just gonna go and remove all these needles, and then I'll come back and we'll do the wire portion together. That's what I'll do. All right, so got a freaking ton of needles removed. I haven't removed any of the branches, even if I found the absolute worst possible cases like this newly inward growing little branch, like no use for that. There's one down here underneath the crotch of another. Like those are definitely going to get removed. But I just wanted to get it all cleaned up so we could see the branch structure better and go from there. Pulling these needles is actually a lot of fun. But what you don't want to pull it down like you're peeling a banana. You want to kind of pluck it out. If you pull it down and it's younger wood, I've one time basically skinned down that branch. Not on this tree, on another one. Might have been this one. So I learned that lesson. Don't peel down, pull like out or up and out. And if you grab like, you know, a good pinch, there's 3 needles that pop out in little clusters with this Japanese black pine. So I grab like 2 or 3 of those 3s like that, and they pop right out together. And I'm just stacking it here, then I'll toss them off the deck, and we'll see what branches we want to keep and what buds we want to keep, and then we will wire after that. add some acid to the soil, right? Okay. Let's get this thing cut down so we can see the trunk line. It had handles, that's why I kind of left it planted deep and haven't messed with it. But now it's been a few years, so this pot's just, the handle's kind of disintegrated. And luckily the pot's even still holding up. I'm very glad that I left this in a nursery pot larger and let it grow larger faster, because I jumped the gun on getting some of these into smaller pots and even grew them in 2 smaller pots to begin with. And I think that, you know, maybe it didn't set me back, but definitely I would have a lot more substantial looking pines if I grew them in larger tubs like so. I don't know, I'd say it's maybe a 2 gallon, something like that. So that's garbage too. Throw that in the yard. So let's take a look. Let me see if you can see it. The trunk's pretty thick. Yeah. Cool, let's get in there a little better. Sweet. All right, so it's my pointer finger. It's wider than my pointer finger. It still has, right around the base, this is the biodegradable little pouch that I grew them in for easy transplanting, and supposedly the roots can just grow right through and you just plant the little sack and it biodegrades. But after 5 years, it's still here and pretty tough, so I'm sure the roots grew through it. However, you know, definitely if I was to repot this into something nice, I would make sure I removed any remnants of that, or if I was doing a repotting and messing with the roots, same thing. So let's do the easy ones first. Right here, like I was telling you, it's a couple of little insignificant branches down here growing between other branches that I may or may not keep, but I always try to go around the tree and just remove everything I know for a fact I don't want, like this other one little down here. This little thing coming off here, another one off the trunk. All these branches is probably why this trunk thickened nicely. So I'm not hating on all of them. Here's another kind of dormant little nub. I love the Japanese black pine needles. They're more palm-like, you know, palm tree-like. Like they're very substantial, like a sago palm. Long, sharp, aggressive looking. Love it, love it. Okay, so if this is the main trunk line that I want, maybe, and I'm thinking about something windswept. I didn't say that until now, but I'm thinking something windswept for this black pine. I would probably not want these 3 down here because they're just below that divide, and that's going to cause like this to get even bigger notch than it might already have. So I'm actually going to take all 3 of these off. 1, 2, 3. So if you've ever grown pines from seed, this will be what it'll look like for about 2 years. Won't do any dividing, won't do any branching, I mean, no multiple buds, nothing. It'll grow extremely slow and you'll think, I'm doing something wrong, and then all of a sudden, 3-4 years in, boom, they will, they'll start doing exciting things. So don't get discouraged. I grew all my pines from seed except for one Yamadori, so. Okay, so got those out of there. So clearly same with this one. That's right at that line. I'm gonna keep this one for now. That might work with me. And I'm just gonna leave a little bit of these notches here for, to let it die back a little bit, and then I'll clean that up, you know, maybe in June when I pinch the needles back. Today I'm going to remove, or the candles back. Today I'm going to remove some of the candles here. Probably leave 2 at the end of each branch. And then in June, when those are really reaching out, that's when you like pluck them in half. I think I Might have to go back and check on that. Anyways, this one growing interiorly. No, I want to showcase this little V here. I think this branch as well might mess with the visual there. I like this branch. And I like this and this, and even this one, but this one is just kind of coming across that line, even regardless of front or back. I think it'll just kind of get lost in the mix, and it's going to interfere long term. So yeah, I left all those because you always hear leave some branches down low, really thicken that trunk up. So I was pretty pleased when I saw how amazingly that was kind of budding out and branching out down there. That's why I left it the past few years. So right off the bat, that looks a lot better. If I didn't already decide that I wanted windswept and to wire, I might even just leave it for another couple seasons, but here we are. If I have one drastic lower and then one kind of coming across the top, and then that could create some sort of an apex. And then so if I did that, right, get basically these three branches going that direction. It would be kind of cool to have this one kind of gnarly here, and then just bring these up and have that like a pad. So I have these pads reaching out here. I might even that one works with me too. Yeah, all right, so I'm going to take this for a few spins and take a look, and then we will get that wire on there and give it a go. First time wiring, so all right, stand by, y'all. All right, so I think I know where I want to start, so let's just get right into it. So I contacted and consulted my consigliere, and I think I have a general plan. So I'm going to find the middle point of this wire and work my way out, and hopefully that will somehow anchor the two together. This could be a disaster, but essentially I'm going to find the middle. Like it's a shoelace, and then I'm going to wrap each branch, each of these individually. So coming in above that one, boom, right at the base here. And I'm going to just get it started on each one, and then I'll just work one then the other. I'm trying to keep it just on this main center trunk here. That kind of out of the way so I can't poke myself in the face, and this is probably best that I don't have Stella with me. I did have her station set up and a little spider plant for her to prune back, but she was not having it. I got this old spider plant, and it just has these nasty old long leaves, and I figure if I just totally prune it down to the base, it's nice and root bound, it'll kick off some nice fresh leaves quickly for the season. So I'm just going to let her pull at it. And of course, what does wifey say? Make sure she doesn't put anything in her mouth. Alright, so these are relatively large branches probably for my first go at this, or maybe it's easier to do with large branches, but even though this is 3 mil, I'm going to wrap it pretty close together here so that I have a little more hold. Trying not to make it too tight, but you know, tight enough. I really like how this wire's rounded. I don't know if all wire is, but I think that that'll probably prevent a little bit of wire bite if I get sidetracked and don't get to it in the future right away. That was kind of part of the reason why I avoided wiring till this point. The thought of wire bite on the babies that I grew from seed and took all that time with was like horrifying. So I've done everything in my power to avoid it to this point. Used like yarn, zip ties, workout straps. All right, I'm getting to the top here on this guy. So I'm going to do this other one and then I'll bring you back on. All right, so I didn't buy any wiring specific tools, but I have like this old rusty pair of little pliers that I planned on using, but I pretty much just wrapped it all by hand. And even though this doesn't have a cutting edge, I was able to clip off the top of this wire. So I'm just gonna do that again. How the hell did I know it? There we go. Just had to get it into the crotch of the thing, and there we go. Okay. So before we continue, let me just prune out this one. It's growing out the base of that branch. That's definitely not something I want. And then, well, those are crisscrossing now, but let's see how they wire out, right? Okay. So you're coming back this way. Like if wrap this tight, this bad boy doesn't hold, then probably I need a bigger gauge wire. Let's see if I could just exaggerate it a little bit. All right, that's not so bad. I'm gonna work with that a little more. Okay. Is that holding it down? No. All right, that's progress. Now this one I want to come behind and then be a little bit more vertical, so less drastic of a sweep. Maybe come and then go back up a little bit. It's not so bad. All right. All right. I'm digging that. That's pretty dope. So my thought was, I mean, this is such a nice branch. I was like, do I need, because these are kind of growing directly across from each other, do I need both of those? Or do I have enough here, and then with these two little ones on the side to... All right, so I have pretty much every branch that I'm keeping wired. So just to give it a spin, these two I had bent a little bit before, and then my phone died, so I'm like, well, I might as well wire everything else. So be thankful that you didn't witness it. It was more of the same. Wrapped it tight. Probably terrible technique, but anyways, I did some research, not too much. All right, so the branches I want taken off aren't wired. So we've got 5 coming out up here. Kept the middle one and these 2 side smaller ones. And then these 2 are straight and they have 4 and 3 little candles developing, so we don't want them to develop any further. So I'm just going to get relatively close. Take that off. Take that one off. Okay, moving to the next dominant one. We got one coming right up the middle, and then 3 kind of spreading evenly. I know they're relatively from the same spot, but I think I like it and can work with it. I might have to remove one in the future. And then there's this smaller one here that's just going back and across and under. It really doesn't have much energy, and I don't want to keep it. So we'll take those 2 out. This one has 5 candles, so definitely lots of energy going up the middle. And let's see, coming down here, this one really will interfere with these guys, so I already have 3 on there. I might have taken that a little too close. I'm a jerk. All right, well, hopefully that'll be fine. So keeping 3 there, 3 here, 3 up top, 3, and then we got 2 down here. So I'm just going to remove, we'll say, the middle candle, just popping that right off, and then when we say the other dominant one, and we'll leave those 2. Just going to go around, make sure there's 2 on each. 2. This one has 6, so I'll take out 2 dominant ones up the middle. You know, sometimes I pinch the candles to still let them come out, and they're just smaller, but here I'm trying to remove it all the way. So you want to interrupt any growing that's going on. You don't want it to keep popping out. I'll take off the other 2 big ones, leaving 2. They're relatively spread. Hopefully they start to go in opposite directions. This one has a single, maybe a couple little babies to the outside. Yeah. And I'm going to take out the main big one and let those little ones develop there. 2 here, 3 taking out the middle, 3 taking out the middle, 1. I didn't get so close on these. Get down more. Cool. 1, 2, and 3 here. Oh, and 1 on the side, so I'll take off that one. That's just 1. This is 3. I'll twist off the middle. 4, middle 2. Cool. All right, so that is the branching that I'm going to be working with. So let's go ahead and kind of start working things into an area. I didn't really wire these 2. I might change my mind on that, but I thought they were kind of fine the way they were. All right. Basically, I'm trying to work them in a windswept fashion, kind of starting either down and then up, or in some way kind of coming back up a little bit so I could develop some pads here. I'm just filling space, trying to get straight ones to get some sway in them. over again. Oh, it's the wire that popped. I thought I popped the branch off. Ha! All right, that's good. Try to get this one to come down up a little bit. Liking that. I think I'll just mess with this guy a little bit and probably call that a wrap for the day. See what LB thinks. Probably tomorrow, because about Stella's bath time. I think that I'm going to take this one off. I don't like it. I really don't have that much wire on it, and that was probably because I was between whether I wanted it or not, so I do not. There we go. Knock that out. All right, cool. I'm thinking definitely this is my front and the two dominant branches. They're kind of set back in the planting, but definitely my eye goes right to, boom, and then goes up the tree, and then I look at the side ones, and that's kind of what I want. So for now, I think that is very cool. Yes. So boom, boom. So that's going to do it for my first wiring. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that I did. Definitely a rookie, but it was a lot of fun, so I'm going to continue on. So if you're looking to wire, definitely check out Amazon. And there's plenty of options and not that expensive. So these were aluminum, coated, rounded, anywhere from 1 to 3 millimeters. So I'm Jared Paul, and from my family to yours, cheers.